If your headlights look hazy like this, or even have a lot of moisture, well, that's one of the top problems we're going to talk about on this second generation Kia Soul. But just wait, because that is nothing compared to what we're going to get into later in the video. And maybe you already know what I'm referring to, and maybe you don't, so stay tuned. Let's start with the headlights as our first problem. And as you can see in this case, they are quite hazy. This vehicle being only 10 years old, this is definitely more than I would want to see. Now, other than the haze, which does happen quite often on these, you can also get a lot of moisture inside the headlights, which not only is it not good because it makes the lens cloudy from the inside, but it can affect the bulbs that are in the headlights. So really, the only way to fix both of these issues is to just replace the headlight assemblies. The moisture usually gets in through the seal around the lens, which isn't really something you can fix. And the haziness is on the outside typically, and buffing it doesn't really fix it. It's more of a temporary band-aid. So once again, getting two headlights and replacing them is the best way to go about this issue. Our second problem is going to be the coil springs on this vehicle. And there's really two different issues that happen here, but both can result in the vehicle sagging to one corner. So the first one is going to be just plain broken coil spring. That does happen. And the only way to fix it is to just replace it. You'll notice that the vehicle, if it's in the rear, it'll kind of just sag to the rear, almost like you have a lot of weight in it, but the trunk could be empty, or even in the front, and then it'll look like it's nosediving all the time. Regardless, that's not really safe, so you're going to want to take care of it and replace these in pairs always. And the same goes if you have a sagging coil spring that isn't broken. That's most likely going to happen on the front driver's side, because if you just commute in this vehicle, it's just one person that's always on this side, and this spring will weaken over time more than the other springs. So regardless, you're going to want to replace them both in pairs. And you can get your kit at oneauto.com, so you can do the job yourself and get the vehicle back on the road. And as a bonus tip, anytime you do suspension or even steering work, you definitely want to get an alignment at the end so you don't wear out your tires. Our third problem is going to be low pressure or maybe no fluid at all coming out of the washer nozzles when you go to clean your windshield. And that comes down to the washer pump in this case. Now, it might not necessarily be a bad pump, but what happens is on the front of it, where it pulls fluid in from the tank, there's a filter. And that little filter gets clogged up, especially if there's a lot of debris that falls in every time you fill up your washer tank. And you're gonna have to pull the reservoir out, pull the pump, clean that filter. Hopefully it didn't pull any debris inside of it. Otherwise it could have gotten damaged, and at that point you would just have to replace the whole pump. But you can start by cleaning that filter, and hopefully your washer nozzle pressure should be restored. Our fourth problem has to do with the brakes on this. And what happens is they wear prematurely, or well, faster than you would anticipate. They can also create a pedal or brake pulsation as you slow down. So whether it's in the front and your steering wheel shakes, or maybe it's in the back and you just feel it in the whole car. Definitely feel it in the pedal, almost like someone's pushing the pedal back at you. But basically what you want to do is inspect everything when you replace these brakes, because that's the only way to fix it. Check your caliper pistons, make sure they're not seized. Check the slider pins, make sure they're not seized. Make sure they're well lubricated. Check the brake hose, make sure that isn't restricted, and make sure that the bracket where the pads sit is nice and clean so the pads can move around. Whatever parts you need, you should definitely check out oneauto.com, because you can get yourself a kit that fixes all of these problems all at the same time. And once you do that, your car should be good to go once again. And here's the problem you've all been waiting for, problem number 5, and that is engine failure. Unfortunately, that happens quite often on these, and you'll hear a knocking noise as you drive, maybe some clicking or tapping going with it. But basically, when you hear that, that's the end of the engine, and the best way to fix that is to just replace the whole engine. So it's definitely not an easy task and not a small job, but that is what has to happen for the car to keep going.